There we go. There's Keith one time. Thurman, we got him.
Yeah, all right.
What's going on, Champ? How's everything?
Oh, it's all good, man. Had a beautiful day of training. Just relaxing right now. Gonna get ready for dinner in about 45 minutes, man. It's great, man. Getting ready
What
for
is it like?
5th.
You've been away from July of 2019. I mentioned the fact that you've been fighting. This is going on your 15th year. You made your debut in November of 2007. This layoff that you had, some people look at it as a bad thing. I tend to look at it as I'm a glass half full kind of a guy. I've seen you fight against the world's best. You went ahead, fought Porter, fought Garcia. You've been running the gamut for a long time. I think that this time away from the ring has allowed you to heal yourself and sort of reinvigorate that love of boxing. Is that fair to say?
I mean, opinions, a lot of people are going to have them, Ray. At the end of the day, tune in February 5th. Watch your boy's performance. I've been grinding, man. I've been grinding. What this thing has done is all this time off. It has not been ideal. I wanted to get back to the ring. I wanted to be in the ring later last year so that we can be making better fights happen for this year. But, 2.5 years, we got to come back some way, somehow. That's what February 5th is about for me. We got a great challenger, Mario Barrios. We're both coming off of our first career losses, which means both of us have gone back to the drawing board, and we're trying to make ourselves better. But somebody's going to have to take a double L back-to-back, and it might not feel good for whoever that is. But at the end of the day, man, I'm pushing hard, I'm grinding so that, come here in a few more weeks, it's not your boy one time. I hope I live up to my name, and I only have to accept that L one time. And then at the end of the day, later this year, we're going to be bringing bigger and better fights to the welterweight division like I always have and like I always will.
You mentioned about going back to the drawing board. So what does that mean, or what has that meant to Keith Thurman? What are some things that you try to work on and sort of evaluate after that loss to Pacquiao? Because life has changed a lot for Keith Thurman. You got married. You're going ahead and you're a very successful businessman. So how is that going back to the drawing board from a boxing's perspective? What has that meant to you? How has that process happened?
Yeah, none of that stuff matters, in the ring, okay? This is one thing that people don't understand, right? If you're a lieutenant, if you're a soldier, and you go to the battlefield, your wife's at home. You got a family that loves you, but you're about to enter the battlefield. So you don't take none of that into consideration, okay? So people who have this perspective of married life, this and that, Keith Thurman walks the path of a warrior. I've been doing this thing my whole life, 26 years in the game. You can count, inactivity. You can do the math however you want. But even when I'm inactive, I think boxing. I think about what happens when I come back. So in retrospect, and to answer your question, the Pacquiao fight, what did I learn from it? There were things that happened in camp. There are things that happened in my off season. Losing 35 pounds in 11 weeks was not the right move, okay? I lost 35 pounds in 11 weeks to fight Jose Cito Lopez. But after making 147 back in 2019, there was no need for me to blow up and rehydrate to such a heavy weight. That was very unhealthy. That was very unprofessional of me, okay? I take full responsibility. I do not blame others, okay? So that is fact number one. Number two, it was a great fight. It was a close fight. There were so many close rounds in that fight. I was 15 punches away from victory. I lost by 1 point. So you take any round that I lost, it could even been the 12th round. If I would have just thrown 15 more punches, I would have been able to solidify my victory regardless of the knockdown in the first round. So what is Thurman's takeaway? Thurman needs to throw more punches. Don't leave it up to the judges. And if you leave it up to the judges, you got to at least put in the effort so that the judges see that your hands are moving. We know that Pacquiao took some blows. He left the post-fight conference before I left the conference. The man had to go lay down. The damage was dealt, okay? But the victory was in his favor, not in my favor. So I look at the numbers. I look at the punch count. You know, I threw a good amount of punches, but obviously I could have done more. So in this training camp right now, we're doing that. We're making sure that we do more. We're increasing our strength and our conditioning. 2019 was not ideal. I told everybody you're not going to see the best Keith Thurman. I didn't explain why. I knew I was an injured fighter. You know, people can say what they want. Thurman, sometimes, one time, no time. Say what you want. I saw your comments. Say what you want, you know. But Keith one-time Thurman has been and will always be one of the best welterweights in the welterweight division today. Count me out if you feel like it, but I wouldn't put your money on it. I'm coming back hard. I'm coming back strong. I'm coming back with my mind focused and with a true determination. My career's not over, okay? Sean Porter, he's fought 3 times since I fought. The man thinks he's done enough. He's done enough. We respect him, we salute him, and we thank him for the dedication that he did throughout his career and what he brought to the welterweight division, the way that he challenged me, the way that he challenged Spence, the way that he challenged Crawford, Ugas, and all the tremendous champions that he has on his resume. He's had a full career. Every athlete and fighter is an individual. My story is not over. And that's what this year, 2022, is all about. To re-solidify myself in this welterweight division and just show the fans and show the world. You know, I feel like Roy Jones Jr. Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot. I was going toe-to-toe, blow for blow. You say I can't take a body shot, yet I take them, and I haven't been down. If you can't take a body shot, I'm pretty sure you'll fall down. You're talking about, oh, Amir Khan, he got a glass chin. You only say that because when he got hit on the chin, he went down. So I don't got no glass ribs. I stay up, okay? I take body shots that were landed, that were devastating, and I stay up. That's a real warrior. That's something that most people won't know because most people don't know ish about boxing. They haven't been in the ring, and that's okay. Have your opinions. I'm a warrior. I'm here for the sport. I'm here to accomplish my dreams, my goals, my admirations in this life. I have one time to do it. It's not over. The story's not over. And that's why we're back. That's why we're determined. That's why we're animated, because the whole welterweight division will be reminded on February 5th what Keith Thurman brings to the table.
Is there a chip on your shoulder, Keith? I feel like with you, the fact that you have been competing at this extremely high level, as they like to say in boxing circles, this rarefied air, so to speak, that you want to go ahead and say, look, the younger guys coming up, people might dismiss me, but I'm going to prove to the world there's a reason why I held 2 welterweight world championships at one time. Is that what you're trying to prove? Do you have that chip on your shoulder heading into your fight against Mario Barrios on February 5th?
It's not so much as a chip on my shoulder as it just is what it is. Keith one-time Thurman at one time was the #1 ranked welterweight in the world. And there's a reason for that. So I just want to re-solidify that reason. I want to reawaken everybody, because that's the problem with these fight fans out here. You got short memories. You're just short-termed. You know, whoever's fighting, you see the action, you see the glamour, and you hop on the train. Now you're a fanboy of this fighter. You're a fanboy of that fighter. So for those kind of fight fans, Thurman's not the guy to give them their fix. My inactivities, my layoffs, they don't get their fix through me. But that's okay, because we're coming back in action. We're healthier than ever. And we're looking forward to staying very active this year and the years to continue until the show is truly over.
When you talk about being active in a perfect world for Keith Thurman here in 2022, how many times do you want to fight this year?
Let's see. We got February. We got July, August. And then from that point, you got December and January, you know? So can I squeeze in 3? Do we do 2 and then we're back on the books early next year in January? I mean, for me, that's what the calendar is looking like. I definitely just want to stay active and have the most, you know? I'm still in my prime, 33 years old. I got a lot to show. I think my body's been moving better than ever. I feel better today than I did in 2019 with the Jose Cito Lopez fight, even with the Manny Pacquiao fight. I wasn't sure if my body was truly going to feel better than the Manny Pacquiao fight. I trained really hard, but slowly but surely, week after week, strength, conditioning, mobility. You know, I've been doing more flexibility and getting my mobility, and all of a sudden, you know, they could think that I'm coming in with some ring rust, but I've worked really hard in this camp to shake all of it off in training, in preparation for February 5th.
The one item that I've heard from fighters that is the most difficult to simulate in sparring compared to that of an actual prize fight is timing. You've always had very good timing in the ring. So how have you been trying to simulate and get back your timing inside the ring as we inch closer to February 5th on Fox Sports PPV pay-per-view?
You know, the strength work helps with explosiveness, right? So, you know, you want to time things, but while you're timing it, you want to get there in time. And you're not going to get there in time if you can't be explosive. Boom. You got to bring the speed back. Boom. You know, so I'm doing what I need to do to make these hands move fast once again. You know, then you got your sparring. You know, I'm always working with multiple sparring partners. Many training camps, it's always been 3 guys going 4 rounds. Now I got 4 guys going 3 rounds each. And, you know, it is what it is. Everybody's a little bit taller than me because Barrios is going to have a height and reach advantage, even though he's moving up from a lower weight class. So we're anticipating that we're going to have to work our way in for our straight punches. He'll be able to hit me before I can hit him. You know, it's nothing new in boxing. It's just part of the strategy. And then from there, you know, quickness, sharpness. Once when they throw and once when I give right back, how fast can I do it? Am I able to counter? Am I blocking and shooting, or am I ducking and going? You know, and we're working on every little thing, man. I mean, for me, 26 years in the game, it's not new. Everything that I do is highly professional, very scientific, very analytical. I study the game. I've always been a student of the game. You can see it in my previous fights with my ring movement, my head movement, my awkwardness, and I just want to re-showcase those skills and talents once again and surprise Mario Barrios.
So you pointed out, you assessed the fact that he's taller than you and you'd have to work your way to get on the inside. But what are some problems that Mario Barrios poses to you? Because you could have picked a variety of different opponents, but you settled on Mario Barrios. Why so?
Well, no matter what, it was going to be some type of get-back fight, you know? And Barrios is the only former world champion that was presented to me, you know? So people can criticize this fight how they want, but I think if I would have took any other opponent, I would have suffered more criticism, you know? So I just respect this fight. I respect anybody moving up in weight into a brand new division, yet challenging Keith one-time Thurman. That takes gustos. That takes the cojones, you know? So at the end of the day, Mario Barrios isn't just stepping into a regular fight. He's fighting a truly, you know, he's fighting a former ranked #1 welterweight in the world, you know? And you don't do that without wanting to make a statement in the welterweight division. Barrios knows if he gets past Thurman, he can challenge anybody and everybody. And that's the upside for Mario Barrios. He doesn't just want to come into the welterweight division, take some kind of fight and say, hey, look, guys, I'm now a welterweight because I weighed 147 and I fought this guy in the ring. That's not the story he wants. He wants to say, look, I beat Keith Thurman. Who's next? That's a big statement, you know. For me, in retrospect, I've accomplished more in my career. Me defeating Mario Barrios isn't that same kind of statement, but watching my performance, seeing how Keith Thurman performs, then all the people who speculate, got something to say, ring rust, they're going to have to look at it. And if I get to do what I'm planning on doing, what I want to manifest into my reality this year, 2022, I'm hoping, I don't want to say it. I want you to say it, Ray. I don't want to say it. I want these people with comments. I want them to say it. I want them to look at me after February 5th and be like, yeah, you know, I thought I was going to see this from Thurman. I thought I was going to see that, but, you know, the boy's back. And real talk, him versus Spence, him versus Crawford, Thurman versus the world is on. That's all I want. That's what I'm about. I'm about making some of the most exciting fights in the welterweight division, point blank, period. It's on my resume, and we're going to do it once again this year, 2022.
Talking with Keith one-time Thurman, former welterweight champion of the world. He matches up against Mario Barrios February 5th, Fox Sports PPV pay-per-view live in Las Vegas at the Michelob Ultra Arena at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. Keith, there's been a lot of movement at 147 since you were in the ring. So I want to take a couple minutes, some rapid fire. I'm going to throw out some names at you within the division, and then give me however long you want to go. So I'm going to go and start off with the young cats that are coming up. Virgil Ortiz, what's your assessment of him?
You know, I'm not watching these young cats. I'm just interested in seeing how much noise they make. Virgil Ortiz is a name that I've slowly been hearing more about, but I haven't watched film yet. You know, that's the one thing about being a married man. That's the one thing at the end of the day is we're focused on our agenda, you know. So these fighters coming up, they still have a little bit of work to do. I had to do it when I was in their position. You got to have work to do to really force people that have solidified themselves in the welterweight division to acknowledge who you are, why you belong in the position and the rank that you have, and why you deserve these big, big, big fights, you know. So I know he's an exciting fighter from all that I've heard, gym talk, things of that nature. He's exciting. He's explosive. I believe that he's a puncher, and he's highly entertaining for the fight fans that I've come across so far. They do like him. I can't give a personal assessment, but as he continues to grow in the sport, I'm pretty sure that eventually I'm going to have to do some fine tuning and really hone in and figure out who this young man is and why I keep hearing his name.
Okay, another guy that's been blossoming at welterweight. Again, I know you don't pay attention to the younger guys, but I'm sure you've heard the name. What about Boots Ennis out of Philadelphia? Have you seen him fight? Do you have any opinion one way or the other?
I got criticism for my previous comments about Ennis, right?
Well, I'm just asking you to go ahead and
saying I don't know who he is, and then he said, "No, you know who I am," and it's like, sorry, bro, I just don't. You know, well, now I do. Okay, now I do. I've watched Ennis, tremendous fighter. You know, I love what I see. I love his mobility, his explosiveness, and his power. Looks like a real threat up against anybody. I'm a power puncher. I know when you got dynamite, you got dynamite, you know, and it can light people up in any given round. You know, his opposition is moving up little by little. I believe that he's going to continue to be on this road to victory, growing his name similar to Ortiz. And that's why we're talking about these young men today. What I like is his fight style overall. I haven't seen a lot. I've seen enough that I need to see that says this boy has something. The way he moves, the way he throws is that awkwardness. Reminds me a little bit of myself, but reminds me of a mixture of a Keith Thurman, a Floyd Mayweather, little Pernell Whitaker, because he likes to be crafty. He likes to be slick, yet he likes to be explosive. It's in the explosiveness that it reminds me of myself. It's in a little bit of the awkwardness that it reminds me of myself. But the way he turns with the shoulder roll, the way he shoulder roll and throws the uppercut reminds me a little bit more of Floyd and Pernell Whitaker. So tremendous talent. I love what I'm seeing thus far. When he picks up the competition and he's really tested throughout the ranks, if he continues to dominate, something that I did coming up, something that Errol Spence did coming up, you know, you're going to feel like you're avoided. Stay on the path of victory, because eventually the creme of the creme rise to the top, and everybody will have to acknowledge who you are. So he seems like one of those next fighters that is a must-acknowledge kind of fighter. And, you know, I just look forward to seeing what happens. But my eyes are set on February 5th, and my eyes are set on retaining those belts back in my position. He is not a current belt holder, and so he's not on my hit list, as they would say. He can be on my get list in the future when I've accomplished what I want to accomplish and I re-solidify myself as the #1 welterweight in the welterweight division.
Let's talk about one of those champions, Terence Crawford. Right now, the way that I'm seeing schedule-wise, he fought Porter in probably mid to late November. You're fighting first week of February. Let's say you're victorious over Barrios. Everything goes according to plan. February 5th. Crawford doesn't have an opponent. Could that be next for Keith Thurman in the summertime if the opportunity was presented?
Well, I would have to say right now it doesn't seem like it's on the list. And I'll explain why.
Okay.
The reason is, my bad,
I didn't hear.
Little dead phone. I got 20% to go. We got plenty of time to talk.
I'll go quickly, but just if you can go ahead and give me your thoughts on Crawford.
I love the fight. I love facing these undefeated welterweight champions. I want the belts. But it might not have been announced. You seem like you're a little unaware. But the WBC approached me for a weigh-in check. And I said, why is the WBC approaching me for a weigh-in check? I don't hold the WBC title. Mario Barrios doesn't hold the WBC title. They have no right to check my weight. Unless this fight, February 5th, is a title eliminator.
Oh.
Which I knew there was a small possibility of being on the books. So if it hasn't been fully announced, this is my way of announcing it. They've been coming at me. If they want to stop checking my weight, if they're going to do something else, they're going to do something else. But everything in boxing is done for a reason. And I know that the only reason why the WBC can request such a thing weeks prior to a fight, where's your weight, champ, is because this fight will be a 12-round title eliminator for the WBC. So whomever holds the WBC title later this year is most likely who Keith Thurman will be fighting. And I look forward to that challenge. I look forward to that opportunity. And then after that, we can talk about other champions.
Okay,
but
so
if something was to happen politically where I do not get to forcefully make the WBC champion face Keith Thurman, then obviously with the contract, with the great fight proposal, I'd be more than open to fighting Terence Bud Crawford.
I got 2 questions for you before we let you go, because I know you've been gracious with your time. You got to eat. You have to have dinner down in Clearwater, Florida. But you talked about that this is going to be a WBC eliminator fight. There's talk about Ugas and Spence fighting for the WBC, WBA, and IBF welterweight championships of the world. What is your thought on that, sensing that if you win February 5th, you could be next and not just fight for 1 belt, but fight for 3 belts?
I mean, honestly, Ray, I'd be lying to you if I didn't tell you that it would be a dream come true. I love everything that I've accomplished in my career, but ever since I was a young amateur fighter, the highest accolades is being called the undisputed champion of the world. So I've unified WBA, WBC. The night that I beat Danny Garcia when he was the undisputed welterweight champion, Thurman was the undisputed welterweight champion. To unify the belts with 2 undefeated champions was the highlight of my career today. So to have that opportunity later this year for an opportunity for not 1 belt, but 3 belts in contention, I mean, it would just be that next level. It would be above the opportunity that I had for Pacquiao pay-per-view. And it would just be a dream come true, man. That's what I'm all about. That's why I wear red, white, and blue every single time that I step in the ring. Because when you watch Keith Thurman, you're watching me live out my all-American dream since I was a child, So I always wish people the best. I wish that their dreams come true. So for me, it would just be another dream come true. And I'd be truly grateful, so much gratitude. And I would work really hard to put on the best performance of my career.
And finally, February 5th, Mario Barrios, FOX Sports PPV pay-per-view, Las Vegas. How's it going down?
Oh, it's going to be explosive. You're going to see a Keith Thurman that's redetermined, reanimated, just ready to fight, ready to take on all comers, challengers, and be champion once again. And that's the kind of performance that I want to bring to the table. I want to steal the show. We got some great fights on that card, man. For anybody who's really looking at the card, February 5th is going to be a tremendous night of boxing in general. You know, so if I wasn't on the card, it'd be a card to watch, man. We just have some great matchups from the welterweight division to the lighter weight divisions.
Something for everybody.
Cruz, and then the comeback of myself, Keith One Time Thurman. I love all my fans. Everybody who's really excited about this fight, looking forward to seeing Keith Thurman. Everybody who's excited for Mario Barrios. I respect everybody. I love the sport of boxing. I know that there's controversy. I know you're not going to love every single fighter. But everyone who's excited for February 5th, I'm just looking forward to getting back in the ring and putting on a tremendous performance for you, for myself, and for the sport of boxing in general. So that's what you can expect February 5th, a tremendous night of boxing.
Hey, Keith, thanks so much for your time. We appreciate it. We'll let you enjoy dinner. I'll see you in Las Vegas during fight week, my friend. Always a pleasure catching up with you. Cannot wait to see you return back to the ring as you collide against Mario Barrios.
Thank you, Ray. Have a blessed one.